This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
My name is Steve Bond. I'm the President of the Stamford branch of the Royal British Legion.
Now, today we're here at Stamford Town Hall. The flag's flying with people that have been decorated today for Normandy.
Indeed, it's a very auspicious day, and one which has been a long time coming. This is at last real recognition by the French government of the quite remarkable things that this generation performed in the liberation of France and indeed of Europe.
We're talking to one of the decorated soldiers upstairs, and 95 years old. He said he doesn't talk very much about it, and obviously feels very lucky that he's made it out of there. But you know, obviously very pleased that actually he has been recognised after what is a considerably long time.
It has been a long time, but to give credit to the French government, they have done this of their own volition. There has been no pressure from either us as the Royal British Legion or I believe the French government. They have done it off their own bat, and all the more credit to them for that. But as I said, it is a long overdue recognition of quite remarkable feats that went on that day. Bill Warrington himself actually landed on the beaches on D-Day itself, and some of the scenes which he saw were horrific. He will tell us of how he was engaged most of the day in taking back wounded from the beaches to the ships. As someone barely into his 20s, that must have been an horrific picture for him to see and to live with ever after, which is why people of that generation don't normally speak very much of what they witnessed in these events.
How many were honoured here today?
Just the two. Bill Warrington, who was who drove one of the floating ducks, that's DUKW, transport vehicles from the ships onto the beaches, and Derek Burton, who was in the REME, and whose job it was to go out and try and refurbish tanks which had been destroyed or damaged, and try and bring them back for repair and back into the battle line. Both gentlemen, extremely brave, in the firing line. Personally, I don't know how they did it.
And who presented the medals here today?
The medals were presented by our branch patron, Air Vice Marshal Peter Dodworth, also known as the father of the Harrier, because I believe over the last few decades it was he who was very instrumental in bringing the Harrier into service with the RAF.
Steve Bond, thanks very much for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. An auspicious day.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
Could you tell us about the ceremony that was going on?
Two chaps got the Legion of Honour, top medal in England, in France. That's what they gathered here for. Yeah.
What does it mean to you receiving that after all these years?
Well, it's very good, isn't it? Yeah.
Was there something you were expecting to happen?
No. See if I can help you with a bit of paper I've got here. There you are. That's the letter we got from the French embassy. You can see if we can get something off that. Turn it up. There it is.
Basically, so effectively you have the highest honour France could possibly bestow upon you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
See, I'm 95. Yeah, I landed D-Day in Normandy with amphibian ducks. With amphibian duck company. A long while ago. But I've been going there now for years and years. And my wife has died, of course. I've been going there for years and years. And Vic there, who used to drive me over there, and his wife, he's been coming over there all those, long before the 50th anniversary, and he took me on the 70th. Yeah, it means quite a bit to it, but it don't mean a lot to them poor buggers who got killed. That's the trouble. That's why I shall wear that medal with honour, but the people who got slaughtered that day. Yeah. A long while ago. I don't tell much about it. But I was lucky. I got dive bombed and on D-Day night and various sort of things. Yeah. I came through it. Lucky. Lots didn't.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Brilliant. We've had some lovely comments from customers with good wishes and inquiries what we're going to do with all our spare time, of which there's plenty. But no, we've a lot of people have been coming to us and saying they've been shopping here for second generation, third generation, having wedding lists and bought their first tea set from us and lovely comments like that. So yeah, it's been quite moving, really.
Well, you are kind of part of the fabric of the town. I suppose on a day-to-day basis, you don't really think about it. But in reality, when it comes to this, when you're closing, you've had such a big impact on so many people. We have.
I mean, it started off in a small way in the town, and we've developed and grown over the years and moved in various shops in the town. But yes, we're sort of one of the few mainstays of the shops. A lot of shops keep changing, as they do in every town, but we're one of the few original retailers in the town.
Do you think, as time has gone on, you have changed with the town? Do you think the town has changed around you?
Bit of both, I think, really. I mean, we've developed different products over the years, stopped doing certain things, started doing new lines. We've expanded. Yeah, I think we've like to think we've developed quite a lot over the years, and the town certainly has. It's become a much more prosperous town than when my parents first set up the business here. I mean, in those days, the A1 came through this street, so there was no bypass, and it was a bit like a rat run.
Lots of rattling china, I'm imagining.
Oh yes, definitely, yes. RAF station used to make the glass crack at different times on the shelves when they used to be flying low over Stamford. But yeah, it's more of a residential town now. A lot of people. We've got some lovely amenities in the town, and I think it attracts people from all over the country, and they commute to other areas as well, which is good.
What's the one thing that you'll take away from this?
I think customer loyalty, I think, because it's been amazing over the years. People do come back and back and back to the same shop, and they're a bit like having friends, really. I mean, obviously you don't buy china every day of the week, but there are a lot of customers that I do regard as friends.
Rutland Radio.
Well, it is a sad time, but equally it's something we've planned. It's not been thrust upon us because we own the properties, so we're in a very lucky position, and so we're really sort of looking forward to be able to enjoy the assets that we've got. But it wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't, by any means. But it's taken several years of planning in order to get to this stage. But I feel it's the right decision. I think times are changing, shopping's changing, and I'm not at all I'm a technic phobic. I think, is that the right word? I don't even know the right title for it. So I'm not into computers and that sort of thing. And I think these days, if you're in business, you've got to really be sort of an IT expert as well, really. And that's what we're not.
And what's next for you and your brother?
Well, I love my watercolour. I've sold my cards in the shop here, so I enjoy watercolour. I'd like to do a lot more of that, and I love gardening. I have my gardens open in the spring for the church in the village, so very much more into that. I hope more time to enjoy it. Dog walking, holidays. And we're going to be still in town. Although I live in Bourne, we'll still be coming in because we own the properties. We're landlords basically, so we'll still be around. But lots of things to keep us busy.
Is anybody looking to move into this unit?
Yeah, we've got one person hopefully all sorted for one part, and then because we're going to divide it into 2 units. But the other one is still available. So that's the moment. Things can happen very quickly, or it could be, a few months. We just don't know yet.
Watch this space.
That's right. Yes.
Is there any final message you'd like to say to everybody?
On behalf of my brother and myself, because my brother's also got the shop up St Peter Street, where they do the calagas and lawn mowers and that sort of thing. So on behalf of both of us, I'd just like to thank everybody over the years for all their custom and their kind wishes.
This is Rutland Radio.
Now, have you any idea what cribbage is? There's a few figurines there. There's cards. I'm here with Siv Sears, who's travelling the country playing cribbage in every single county, and today playing it against our outgoing High Sheriff Andrew Brown. Siv, tell us broadly how it does work as a game. Is it quite a quick game?
Generally, a game will take you 20 to 30 minutes for a single game, depending on how quick you are. And right now, I'm about to count up a hand here. I've got 15-2, 15-4, and a pair is 6. So I'll take these pegs and move 6 points on the board.
So you're advancing, is that how it's working?
Yeah, the pegs leapfrog over each other around the board. Use the cards to score points and you count them on the board. Good way to avoid confusion when you're drunk in the pub.
Andrew, have you played before?
A long time ago, when I was much younger and probably was drunk in the pub at the time, Siv contacted me and I thought it was such an unusual request that I couldn't deny him the opportunity to play in our ancient county. And of course I'm dressed in my High Sheriff's regalia, one of the last chances I've got to wear it, so any opportunity to put my tights on in the last couple of weeks of my office.
And now, one of the objects of this is to keep the game going, to keep interest in it as well.
Absolutely. It's seen as a game in decline and an old person's game, but actually it's a great game, and I think young people would be quite interested in it. So it's part of this is to publicise the game and try and get people playing again. Andrew's a good example, actually, of somebody who played in the past but hasn't played for years. I think there's a lot of people like that.
Have you nearly finished your tour then?
There's 39 historic counties. This is the 31st today. We're on our way up north to go and play in the northern counties up around the Lake District, and this should finish it off before my birthday in June anyway.
And is it a significant birthday then?
39th birthday, and there's 39 ancient counties. Bit of a coincidence, but I'm using that as my yardstick.
And how do you find people to play against?
That's part of the fun, actually. Writing off emails, making phone calls. Up north in what was Cumberland, I've had a real tough time to find anywhere. I've had to use a series of phone calls, chasing down people in rural areas in pubs to find to play. But I wrote to several High Sheriffs and Lord Lieutenants, and Andrew was the only one who was able to give me a game, so I'm glad of it.
Excellent. Well, play on. How are you doing at the moment then? Who's winning?
I'm just ahead at the moment, but Andrew's going to give his count.
So there's a 15 there, so that's 2.
2, yeah.
6, 7, 8, so that's another 3. So how many is that? That's 5 then.
That's correct.
So I can jump 5 now over mine.
We're playing with these zombie pegs as well, which is not typical. Cribbage boards come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, mostly wood, sometimes a bit of brass on there.
I remember seeing one actually, the more I look at it, actually, with matchsticks.
Yeah, quite often used with matchsticks. We're using zombies instead of matchsticks. This is something that Andrew bought for our
youngest son for Christmas, and we hadn't actually opened it until today.
So we're leapfrogging zombies around the cribbage board.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
It's Rutland Radio at breakfast time. I'm Rob Pisani. You remember the big rugby tournament when some youngsters from our area were stepping out at Twickenham. You remember the euphoria of that. Well, it's football's turn in the Euro 2016 Championships. All thanks to McDonald's, your child could be a player escort if they're between 6 and 10 years old on the 10th of June. Tell us more. Sir Jeff Hurst, welcome back to Rutland. I know you've stayed here before.
Yes, I've been in the area. I can't remember the hotel. Lovely hotel in that part of the world. Going back a few years, but quite enjoyed that part. And the hotel particularly was very nice. Can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, get back to the McDonald's website where you can enter the competition. It's mcdonalds.co.uk/Euro 2016. By the 10th of April, you have to enter the competition for a chance in a lifetime for one of 9 kids, along with their parent or guardian, in the Euros in France. It's England v Wales, Northern Ireland, Germany, and the final itself. Of course, we don't know who's playing in that yet. Magnificently, it could be England, which would be brilliant if you're an English kid.
Be amazing, wouldn't it? We always go back, though, to 1966 and your achievement, and you're still actually up there, aren't you, as the only person to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final ever?
Yes, still a record that's hard to beat. We're not seeing quite so many goals now scored in the finals as well, so it's becoming increasingly difficult to even equal it, let alone beat it.
So for these children who are chosen, will they have travelling expenses paid for and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's all done, apparently. I mean, terms and conditions apply, which are on the website as well.
Yeah, of
course. But my understanding is that the expenses are paid for with, I'm not sure it's 1 or 2 parents and guardian. mcdonalds.co.uk/Euro 2016.
It is such a wonderful opportunity for young football fans. And
Brilliant.
I suppose when you talk about stuff like this, you remember your time of stepping out many times, at those sort of championships.
We were involved in the Euro competition. Well, we got to the third and fourth playoff in '68 in Italy. It's quite emotional. I think representing your country at any sport, you've only got to watch. Rugby you mentioned recently, seeing the rugby players singing their national anthems prior to the match, watching athletes who've won medals in the Olympics when the flag goes up, when they're on the rostrum and they play their national anthem of their particular country, how emotional they get. It brings them all close to tears or in tears, and it's that kind of effect that it has. And it'll have a huge impact on a young child at an age between 6 and 10 when they'll be aware and remember what they've done.
So how will these young mascots actually be chosen?
It's a competition, so entrants have to send a picture of their child showing passion for football by the 10th of April. Go onto the website, it'll give you all the instructions of what to do, and 9 kids will definitely win and will definitely go and have a time of their life for a few days in France.
Well, we'd love to have at least one of them from the Stamford and Rutland area. And Sir Geoff Hurst, thank you very much for joining us on Rutland Radio today. It's really lovely to have you on the show. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
Morag Roberts, and I'm from Stamford.
First time London Marathon,
Absolutely.
7 days to go.
Absolutely, yes, and terrified but excited.
Tell us your decision in actually running in the first place. Where did it come from?
I like a challenge. 2012 I did Everest Base Camp trek. And then 13, I did Manaslu and the L'Aquila Glacier Pass trek. And I've done the moonwalk. And I thought I needed another challenge.
So how does this compare with what you've done already?
Very different. But I suppose in many ways it's the same because it's still a bit of the unknown. But having done the moonwalk, I've just realised that I have to this time do it a little bit faster. And I'm looking forward to it.
So have you done your final big run?
Yes, I did that just over a week ago on Friday. I'm afraid maths was not my strong subject at school, so I ended up doing, instead of about 15, I ended up doing 27.38 miles.
So you've done it already? They say you don't have to go quite as far as the full distance.
No, but a lot of it was up and down because I sort of went through Tickencote and the back roads down to Oakham and then back via Empingham and back home.
So next Sunday morning you'll be with 30-odd thousand other people doing the same thing as you. How do you think it's going to feel?
Awe-inspiring, I think. Excited. A little bit terrifying, but I think I'm not going to be the only one. We're all going to be doing it and just start off slowly.
So you're a chorister here at All Saints. You also work at the hospital as well?
Yes, at Stamford Hospital, yes.
And what do you do there?
I'm on bank staff nurse in the outpatients department.
You don't think you'll need medical attention yourself after this?
Maybe internal.
I don't blame you. Is there a time you're looking for?
To get in before dark. I don't really want to commit myself to a definite time, but I know that I did my long walk and jog in 5:45. So I feel confident that I shall do it.
Very best of luck. And you're running for the Red Cross as well?
I am, yes. I've had a lot to do with the Red Cross with having been in the services.
Very best of luck. Be thinking of you. I did it 5 3/4 hours, so I know what it's like. You get round.
Yes.
Whatever happens, you get round. It's amazing. Very best of luck. We'll be thinking of you.
Thank you.
This is Rutland Radio.
Yeah, my name's Connie Flaherty, and I live in Oakham. I know I'm not right near her, but I am the 2nd of August, 1926.
And how are you feeling these days?
Fine. I'm nearly ready to go to Tai Chi.
Excellent.
I get about. I go to the village and everything. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is getting on trains, but other than that, I'm fine.
And what do you think of Her Majesty the Queen's achievements? You know, working almost every day of the year, all the engagements.
Wonderful.
Have you ever seen her when she's been around here?
No, I've seen her once we went to Edinburgh. And she came to the tattoo when we were there, and we saw her just as she came up in the car.
So how do you think you'll be celebrating your 90th birthday then when we get to August?
Well, I've got family in Australia, and one family is coming back, so we're having our little tea with the family in October. I've got to leave it till then, but with friends, I'm going to have one before.
I'm sure. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Rutland Radio this morning. Happy birthday for August. Connie, thank you very much for being on.
Right. Thank you very much then. Bye.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
It's Rutland Radio at breakfast time. I'm Rob Pisani. Not long till the double May bank holiday, of course. Well, only because we get one at the beginning and one at the end. And the first bank holiday is, of course, the day when Braunston shines through the Braunston Mayfair. And Sylvia Matthews is back with us today. Sylvia, who's been getting up especially early for weeks and weeks and weeks, practising maypole dancing with all the youngsters. How's that been going, first off?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Yes, we've been there every Sunday morning, 9:30 for nearly an hour, putting them through their paces, and we've got quite a few new ones, little ones, so that's been, how can we put it, challenging. Yeah, should be good, hopefully.
So the big day is Monday the 2nd of May, the Braunston Mayfair, and basically right the way through the day there's things everywhere in Braunston, and it's all a big fundraiser for the village and for other charities as well.
That's correct, yes. It starts officially about 10 o'clock and goes on till 4:30ish until everybody's fed up and goes home, really. And this year, our designated charity, we give 20% to another charity outside of the village, and we've chosen Age UK, Rutland and Leicestershire.
Tell us about your May Queen this year. Who is it?
This year we've got Tess Cunliffe in her last year at primary school, which is the rules that we always work to and have done for many, many years.
Now, there's something returning to the church, isn't there? Now, I can't imagine this happens anywhere else. I love stuff like this.
Well, I don't know if it's unique to Braunston, whether anybody else has actually done it, but this will be our second time of doing. We're inviting everybody to bring along their brave teddy bears, because we've got parachuting facilities for teddy bears off the top of the church. We've got 2 spells on the Monday. We've got 11 till 12 and 2:30 till 3. So if you've got a teddy bear that's brave, or you think he ought to be brave, bring him along. We've got the parachutes there to fasten them into, and I'm sure they'll be 100% safe. And then they get a certificate to say how brave they were.
How exciting. I bet your teddy will be thrilled to receive that. And the ever-popular dog show just across from the parachuting teddies?
Yes, the dog show starts at 1:30, but if you're registering a dog to enter, if you can be there for 1:15, that would be terrific. And there's always loads and loads of doggies around, all sorts of fun classes, nothing too serious. We're not expecting Crufts standards, but it's always good fun.
And live music as well again.
We've got live music in the street, and that will be going on most of the day. Then, of course, there's always the ever-popular refreshments, all homemade refreshments in the village hall that our ladies... Well, I say ladies, maybe some gentlemen, I don't know, but they're all homemade and they're all in the village hall all day.
Now, the stalls are all over the village. Obviously, you have got quite a lot, but there is room for 1 or 2 more if someone would like to sell anything.
We've got a craft fair in the church, and I think that is full. But we've also got the street market, and that's for traders, and then we've also got tabletop stalls, which I do know there are some of those left. So if anybody wants to have a tabletop stall to make themselves some money or get rid of some clutter that they no longer want, then Amy can be contacted on 759 613, and I'm sure she'll sort you out with a space at the street market.
We'll keep that number here at Rutland Radio just in case you missed it as well. But broadly, you know, to paint the picture, it's Braunston's big day, isn't it?
It is, yes. Braunston really comes to life. We're quite a small, sleepy little village at times, but on that day, the village comes to life. There's people everywhere, cars everywhere, and while we're on the subject of cars, we do have a designated car park where we please ask you to park. Please don't just abandon your car on the side of the road because it causes havoc, and it will be well signposted, and for that we charge just £1.
Braunston Mayfair on Monday the 2nd of May. And Sylvia Matthews, thank you very much for joining us on Rutland Radio. Always lovely to see you.
Thanks, Rob.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
OK, Tilly, tell us about this design. Just describe it to us to start with.
I did the crown because the crown is a big thing for the Queen that she wears, and the balloon is to represent a birthday for her, and the 90 is because of what age she is.
So why did you decide to enter then?
Well, my teacher, the head of year 4, entered us into the competition, so we all had to do a design, so I just did mine.
And then you found out you're in the final 5.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like an adult, and there's you.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I was a bit nervous because there was no one actually there my age.
So what happened then? Where did you have to go for that?
London, in the Waitrose Cookery School.
As we're speaking now, people can go into Waitrose in Stamford, in Scotland, in Cornwall, and buy a cake that looks just like that.
Yeah.
How amazing does that feel to you?
Really amazing that people can buy my cake that I designed.
Tell us where you went in London apart from the Waitrose Cookery School.
Well, I went inside Buckingham Palace and I gave my cake to the Queen's footman, and we saw changing the guard from the palace, and it was really nice.
So, do you think the Queen's seen your cake yet? Could you imagine her having afternoon tea?
She's already had it. It was the day after I went to Buckingham Palace, she had it.
Now, this cake is actually made just down the road as well, the other side of Uppingham. And whose factory is it made in?
Fiona Cairns.
And do you know what she does?
She bakes cakes for Waitrose.
And I think she's baked some royal cakes before as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So, this cake is going to be on sale to help the Queen celebrate her 90th birthday. How do you think she should celebrate her 90th birthday?
With loads of people she likes, like that perform a lot and stuff like that. And she should be at her favourite castle when she does that.
You've seen the Queen before, I guess. What do you think of the fact that she's been ruling all these years on the throne?
I think it's really good to rule that long.
Have you seen her when she's been to Stamford?
Yeah.
What do you remember of that day?
She went to Burley first, and the Red Arrows went by to tell her that it was time to come to Stamford.
Well done. Isn't this amazing that, like, after 60-odd million people in the whole country, the cake that's going to be there celebrating the Queen's birthday is yours?
It is really amazing.
Well done. Thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Thank you.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
It's Rutland Radio at breakfast time. Now, this Sunday, the biggest national sporting event probably is the London Marathon. In our area, we have hundreds of cyclists competing in the Rutland to Melton Cycle Classic. I've got race director Colin Clues with me this morning. Colin, this was entirely your thing, wasn't it? You know, you'd seen something abroad, thought the hills around here would be brilliant for it, and here we are 12 years on, it's still going.
That's right, Rob. Yeah, it's quite incredible, or it seems that now. I loved riding the roads around here, and they reminded me of the roads that were found in Flanders in Belgium, which is obviously the heart and soul of cycle road racing, particularly at this time of year. And really what I tried to do was to match together the roads, the terrain, and the two towns of Oakham and Melton to actually both enjoy what we now have as a major sporting attraction which brings hundreds and possibly thousands of people into this area next Sunday.
So looking ahead to the day itself, there's the junior ride out to start with that goes up towards Tea and Market Overton. Tell us a bit about that.
We started it 2 years ago, so this will be the third edition of the junior event. And these are the best up-and-coming 17 and 18-year-old cycle road racers in the country. And we have 120 of them. They will go out from Oakham at just after 9 o'clock, go out to a circuit which takes in Tea, Market Overton, Thistleton and Edmundthorpe, and they do that circuit 5 times, and then return back down through Ashwell up to Burley on the Hill, and then down into Oakham to finish at around about 11:20. By that time, we'll have seen the main race roll out at 11 o'clock.
And it really is a huge rush, isn't it? Just going back past the marketplace there to Rutland Water twice and then back through Langham, all in just over an hour.
Yeah, the speed at which they go through the town is amazing, and I think that anyone that stands by the side of the road and feels the draft of cyclists and nearly 200 pairs of spinning wheels at 30 plus miles an hour, it's something to be experienced.
So broadly, it's Oakham, 2 laps of Rutland Water, through Langham, out to the really tough stages, the Borough on the Hill, Euston, that kind of area where it's just literally up and down these really tough hills.
Well, this is reminiscent of the Hell of the North, which is the famous Paris-Roubaix one-day race that takes place in France every year and took place 2 weeks ago. And our race was built to be reminiscent of that, and such as the Tour of Flanders and the other Belgian classic races earlier in the season. And we've built something which actually has the character of that and creates the atmosphere and everything of it. We're very proud of that, and in fact, this year above all, we feel that with the atrocity that occurred in Brussels Airport a few weeks ago, as we've always maintained our status as Britain's only Belgian classic, that we want really to dedicate the race this year in a much stronger way towards our Belgian colleagues and stand firmly with them, particularly the cycling fraternity.
We have got teams, as always, from across that sort of area of Europe, and of course British teams as well taking part.
That's correct. We have 33 teams this year. We have teams from Germany, teams from Latvia, from the Netherlands, Belgium, Ireland. We do have a very strong following now, and the number of requests that we're now getting for accreditation from foreign journalists is remarkable, really. This year, of course, we have the opportunity being created by the fact that we're going to have a 1-hour programme on Channel 4, which will be filmed on the day, and a full highlights programme, which will see us through, and that should go out on the morning of May the 7th. And then after that, after Channel 4 have done their bit with it, the programme should be going out to Eurosport, Sky, and then across the world with ESPN, Fox and Supersport. So it's a marvellous opportunity for the race, and really being able to share what this area is all about, as well as the marvellous sporting event that we've created.
That must be an absolute dream for you, not only to see that the race still going, but actually to see, worldwide audience actually seeing what happens here.
It's a landmark for us, certainly, because we've wanted so much to actually get the event on terrestrial television. And this is an opportunity that's being given to us at a price. And within this, what I'd like to say is to everyone that did actually contribute to our crowdfunding that we did a few months ago. We didn't raise all the money that we wanted, but certainly every penny that is being given to us by those people, some of them still anonymous, but others known. I'd like to say a very, very big thank you from the organisation, because really we create the event, but what we want to do is to enable that event to be shared with so many more people. And I think that once they see the race in its reality, they will understand just what a magnificent sporting event we've got here, unlike anything else in Britain and almost without equal in Europe as well.
So this is something that's really the envy of the world that happens right on our doorstep.
Correct. There's no doubt about that. This year we will have competing 2 world champions. They're both riding on British teams. From the Wiggins team, we don't have Sir Bradley with us. We may have him in spectator form, we don't know. But within his team, he's got John Dibben, who earlier this year won the World Points Race Championship on the track in London. And at the same World Championships then, Sebastian Mora from Spain, who rides for the Rally Squad, he took the World Scratch Race Championship. So we have that quality of rider on the event. We also have amongst the visiting teams as well some absolutely marvellous riders. One guy, Stefan Schumacher from Germany, who is a little bit now long in the tooth, but he has a win in the Amstel Gold Race, which is one of the big monuments in Europe to his name, back in 2007. And only last week he returned from the Tour of Morocco, where he was overall winner there. So we've got a lot of people that are coming into form, and the social media is really alive with those who are building up their chances for the Cycle Classic.
So if you'd like to see it, there's loads of really good vantage points. Obviously, Oakham High Street around the marketplace. The big race starts at 11. The juniors go off at about 9 and come back about 20 past 11. Then 2 circuits of Rutland Water for the main race. Then it comes shuttling past. Presumably all the roadworks will be gone from Melton Road, we hope. Then over the crossing to Langham, then out towards basically Borough on the Hill, Euston via Cold Overton. So that's where it kind of hangs around for a while, isn't it? That's where you really see the power.
Yeah, we have a 2-hour period where it goes around Euston, Somerby and Borough on the Hill. And it crisscrosses backwards and forwards using the same roads again. And this year we've put a little bit of a sting in the tail as well in the middle of Euston. When they come off what is locally known as Bruce's Lane, but has become, as part of our Belgian tradition with the race, what we call Sommerberg. When they come off that for the first time and go into Euston, we've put a nice sting there that they're going right back into the centre of Euston and down the Manor Farm special sector through the farmyard there. And we do believe that it could actually be the crucial point of the race this year, that it could actually turn things on its head, that anyone in the lead at that point could go on to win the event. But it's the Cycle Classic and anything goes.
And it's absolutely free to come and support it. It finishes in Melton just after 3:30 and all starts in Oakham 11 o'clock this Sunday morning with the main race. So just to summarise then, great places to watch it. Obviously Oakham to start with, but then out towards Euston.
Watch the start in Oakham. Pop out to the bypass and see them come round Rutland Water once, and at the same time also see the juniors come back in, and then immediately hightail it up to perhaps Cold Overton, see them come up the hill there, and then on to Euston and have a look at Sommerberg and even go through to Borough. But yeah, it's a fantastic couple of hours that we have out at Euston and in that area. The barbecues will be flowing, the drinks will be flowing, and everybody, we want to have a great day of sporting action and an enjoyable family day out.
That's the Rutland to Melton Cycle Classic in its 12th year this Sunday, and race director Colin Cleese will see you there. Can't wait for it. It's always such a great day. Thank you.
Great to have you there with us, Rob.
This is Rutland Radio.
So we're here at the Little Genius quiz last night at Stamford and Dowd schools. And which school won?
Witham Hall.
And what are your names?
I'm Kit. I'm Rose. I'm Isabella. I'm Kit. I'm Sophie. I'm Richard. I'm Eddie. I'm Matilda.
And you had two teams here. How were the questions for you? Was it like an exam or was it really good fun?
It was lots of fun.
What was your favourite round?
Probably the maths, because I didn't have to do anything.
Is that because someone else in your team did it?
Yeah, Richard did it.
Oh, brilliant. Well done, Richard.
Thank you.
Are you quite good at maths then?
Yeah.
She does archery.
There wasn't an archery round, was there, unfortunately?
Good at it. Very, very good at it.
Yeah?
She got Junior Women's Sportswoman Award for the year.
And will you come back again to defend your title? That'll be different children, won't it? Different year fives.
Yeah, so hope they win. Definitely. Yeah, hope they win. Definitely.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
I'm really pleased with the turnout. People of all ages, very young people, school children, people at work and people who are retired. Tremendous turnout.
Because it all went well, didn't it?
It certainly did. Yes, the beacon, I can see it. I can smell the burning. Yes, it's wonderful. Yeah. Entertainment's been superb. Catmus College and the others who've put a tremendous amount of effort into it. And I'd really like to thank Vince Howard and his team from Oakham Town Council for putting it on. A lot of work has gone into this, but it's been very, very worthwhile.
And what do you think of Her Majesty at 90?
Oh, well, just amazing. Her service to the country has been without parallel. Absolutely wonderful.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
It's Rutland Radio and it's breakfast time. Rob Pisani. This Sunday, so many huge events going on, from the London Marathon to the Cycle Classic to the Stilton Cheese Classic Car Run, heading out of Uppingham at lunchtime. And if you are around to catch the TV on Sunday afternoon, there is one thing you definitely want to watch. It's Songs of Praise, because Oakham School Chamber Choir are one of three competing for the final of the competition. With us this morning is Oakham School's Director of Music, Peter Davis. What an achievement to actually be, up there as one of the top three. You went successfully through the semi-finals, and how great it was to actually scan through the audience as the cameras did and see the Oakham School banners, see the uniforms, everything.
Yeah, it's an amazing achievement. I'm so proud of our pupils, really. I mean, it's we're proud of what we do in Oakham, we're proud of what we do locally, but it's just brilliant to have that sort of recognition on a national scale, really, and just amazing for it to be, of course, playing out live on BBC One.
So how long ago was that all done then?
Well, this all happened for us back in late February. Basically, we travelled up to Sheffield for filming for the semi-finals and, as you now know, the finals, but have had to keep everything a closely guarded secret, sort of a la Bake Off, really, until sort of it all goes to air a couple of weekends back and, of course, this Sunday.
And you had some really prestigious judges as well, actually, giving their comments at the semi-final stage.
Yeah, very much so. We had 3 quite famous people. We had Connie Fisher, who was famous from How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, music theatre star. Catherine Jenkins, of course, well known as a classical crossover star. And then someone I've always looked up to, a choral conductor for many years, Ken Burton, a fantastic gospel choir director and singer and arranger in his own right. A great competitor in competitions like this himself when he was a younger man. So, really good to be having a chance to perform to musicians of that calibre.
What makes a winning entry, do you think, for something like this?
Oh, that's a question and a half, really. It's a combination of what you sing and how you sing it, really. I'm proud of what our choir can do. I mean, in the semi-finals, as viewers may have seen already, we sang Amazing Grace. We took a bit of a risk. I knew our choir can sing really well unaccompanied and do all those sort of rich, close harmonies. So it's sort of choosing that right repertoire. And then, of course, it is a competition for the cameras. So it's looking as well as sounding the parts because it's television.
And Oakham School is the best of the best from the school.
Yes, it is. Our chamber choir, yes, very much so. These are our top sort of 30 singers. We're actually 28 this time round. So we have a huge amount of music, as you well know, and many of your listeners will know, going on in the school. This is one of 5 choirs that we have in the school, well over 300 pupils singing in choirs regularly each week. But these are the top, more senior pupils on the whole who have been selected and put themselves forward for doing the most elite work within the school.
So if you want to watch it, BBC One, this Sunday afternoon, 10 to 4, you'll see the whole competition unfold.
Very much so, yes. You'll see both the junior choir competition with the final 3 choirs there, and then Oakham up there with the best, competing with 2 other senior school choirs.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk.